Hey guys, Russ at Redline Power Sports in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Wanted to thank you again for tuning in to the Redline Tech Tip of the Week. This week's topic, we're going to talk about correctly torquing pinch bolts. I see this done very wrong all the time. I see one where it's very tight and then one where it's hardly even hanging on at all. I've also even seen them so tight that fork tubes are crushed, and we've actually had to replace the outer tubes. When you're torquing a pinch bolt, if the bolt will take it, the actual clamp is very strong and can actually damage the fork tube. So we want to go over how to do this properly. There is a procedure on how to do that. Obviously follow your service manual. That's going to be the gospel when it comes to the actual torque for the pinch bolts, the procedure on how to put everything together. This is more or less just a guide and tell you how to do things in a summary. So wanted to go over that. I did bring out my torque wrench. We use an electronic torque wrench 9 out of 10 times. So we do have a couple of click styles. I can go over torque wrenches in another video, but the reason I like this is because when we're working on the Ducati, we're typically working in Newton meters, and when we're working on other bikes, anything American, things like that, it's going to be done in foot-pounds. Nice thing about an electronic one is you have units that can be selected right on the torque wrench, so that you can select foot-pounds or Newton meters, so you know you're getting an accurate torque and you're getting a torque done in the right unit. If you torque at 10 foot-pounds versus 10 Newton meters, you're going to run into problems, bolts snap, things like that. I hear all the time, I swear I had the right torque. That's because you were likely doing it in the wrong unit. So anyway, there's a unit button on the torque wrench. Like I said, I'll go over that in another video. Another thing I get all the time, questions-wise, is when you're torquing and you're actually tightening the bolt and you hear that creaking noise. The creaking noise is actually the bolt is dry, and as well as the female thread is dry. If you put a small dab of grease or even a little WD-40, something like that, on there, that will stop that creaking. If you're doing the creaking noise, you're not getting an accurate torque, because that, if you were actually to look at that on a graph, it'd be a peak and a valley up and down in torque. You'd get a bunch of torque, like it'd be really tight and then all of a sudden really loose. So you want to make sure that you're not getting the creaking. If you're getting the creaking, you're not torquing it properly. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, in this case on a Ducati, this is 10 Newton meters on this lower clamp. There's 3 bolts that cover this clamp. Normally it's 2, but on some forks they do 3, or on the top here they only do 1. It's really up to the manufacturer and how they decide they're going to design that. The big thing is when you have more than one, you torque 1, you're done basically. But when you do 1, 2, or 3, you want to go in an alternating pattern. Or I meant 2 and 3. I'm sorry. If there was 2 here, you would torque this one, and I usually go about half the torque value. The nice thing about this torque wrench too is it does a digital readout of what my actual live torque is, so what I'm actually pulling for torque at that given time. So when you torque this one, say 10 Newton meters, I'll set my torque wrench to 5, and I'll start at 5 and I'll work my way up to 10. This being such a light torque, if you go straight to 10, I can almost guarantee you're going to snap it off. And then you create a whole lot more headaches for yourself than what you really want. What you want to do is set it for, like I said, about half the torque value, and that's usually what I do, so that I don't run right up to that 10 Newton meters right away. And then you want to torque alternating back and forth across the 2 pinch bolts, or in this case across 3. So I would do the center, the bottom, the top, and then I'll alternate in a different pattern so that I'm getting the true torque. And you're not done until that torque wrench is beeping or clicking, depending on what style you're using, until you're getting that beep or click across either the pair or all 3. If you are beeping on one and not on the other, this one is still loose. And there's this kind of interesting, I don't know if I call it a phenomenon, but it's kind of, I guess, just interesting how it works. When you torque this one, it will actually loosen this one up until you achieve the even torque. So that's why you have to go back and forth across the two. Is this one, you'll torque this one, and pretend there's only two here for right now. You'll go across this one, and then that one, and this one will need more torque. And then when you go back to this one will need more torque. And then eventually you'll achieve, let's just take that 10 Newton meters we were talking about, you'll achieve the 10 Newton meters across both. That's when you're done. You're not done until you get this, across both. The same goes for pinch bolts down on the fork, or on the bottom of the fork to, tighten down that axle from moving. Same story, alternate across those. I see a lot of guys all the time just get out a regular socket, and just cram both of them until they don't move anymore. It's a pinch bolt. It is designed to be evenly clamping, not to clamp super heavy on one side, because if you're not torquing and torquing evenly, one of those clamps is basically cocked to the side and it's not working properly. Want to stress, follow your service manual. It, like I said, will tell you the exact procedure for your bike. It will tell you exactly all the torques you need. This stuff is critical. You're working on a steering component of your bike. It's critical that you have it done right. And if you're not comfortable doing this kind of work yourself, bring it to a place like us or whoever's local to you that you trust and that's a professional and knows what they're doing. It's absolutely critical that this stuff is all done properly. That's all I got for you guys today. I really appreciate you watching. If you like it, hit that like button and then also subscribe to us for more videos. We try to put one out a week with the Redline Tech Tip of the Week and give you hopefully good content like this. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys.